sharing today. I used to be in these recovery groups, all different ones. I mean, there was some that were like trying not to be the 12-step groups. So, for example, one was called, I think they called it, like, there was a bunch of Buddhist people that named it the Dharma, like from how they say Torah. We would say maybe Torah recovery in Judaism. Like, what everyone was trying to say was that there's a true self that we get out of touch with. And so first of all, there's compassion for those who can't say thank you, sorry, etc., those who mock and gossip and judge. Now we would think, what? Compassion for these people? Yes, compassion for these people. Not knowing who they really are, and that they're precious life, and they're talking about precious life, mocking, not thanking, not grateful for precious life. So it really starts with me. May the person who blank to me did no peace. In other words, whether they have ignorance, confusion, and it stops peace, me ignoring or me being confused that there's still life also stops peace. So we start with compassion for myself. May I be at peace. When I add to the reactionary interactions, so may the person who was getting me out of the present moment because they weren't feeling in the present moment, no peace. May the person who asked me too many questions on something I didn't want to talk about, no peace. Simple. So in these reactionary interactions, see it, forgive it, recognize practicing it, and may I be at peace. In other words, the pain of not being addressed and in distress is the biggest part. So, for example, there's a part of me that says, I just want to flow. I don't want to have to do all these duties and then feel like a failure because I didn't do what you set out to do. So I see that. I see I'm afraid of not being enough. I forgive myself for thinking that I'm only lovable if I accomplish such and such. I recognize in the practice, like, can I allow myself to still be good even if I'm not someone who manages to achieve that? And then may I be at peace, may I still feel peace, just wishing myself to feel peace. Then there's the idea of disappointment. That's a comparative mind. It sees ruin when things don't go our way, where we're not like others. We can hold ourselves in the light of loving kindness in a few ways. First of all, ask ourselves if it's true. Let's say I feel disappointed that that person doesn't love me. And we say, is that true? I don't know. They might love me. So we can gain a wise understanding. Maybe I've been pushing them away. Actually, I did. I literally made it so they can't reach me and can't express love. And then I make all these rules about when I'll be willing to receive their love, if it comes this way, that way, if they prove it. So using this hurt and confusion as the path, the patience for my own limits, that nobody has to be more than human. People get hurt also. And in my fears or in my struggle, I could also make space for someone else to have fear and a struggle. And maybe they have inner confusion. They don't want to rush yet. And then finally, when we're dealing with all this, we could see it's in the material world. It's like in this attachment to stuff or people as stuff, not as life. Life is always changing. Life is always with us. But we could say like we become clingy and possessive when we're not open to the possibility of sharing. Rather, we can hold ourselves in the light of being precious. Open to breathing in myself. I'm breathing out for all beings, peace, right? Seeing this currency flow in the physical world of building things, breaking things, each with an energy, allowing gentleness with life, sentient beings who are alive. I want to share now about Esav. Esav was someone who a lot of people could not feel so much compassion for him because he was Yitzchak's son, Yaakov and Esav, and he got tricked into giving his birthright. He's painted out as someone from the field who was cunning and basically, like, you would think maybe too smart for his own good. Maybe he got the short end of the stick a lot. Powerful, wild, but let me go into it. So he feeds and nourishes. He's 2 times the man Jacob was. Esav means like verb. It's like doing, mobility. He brings the sustenance to his father. He's able to deceive others, especially with his mouth and his words. He fails the test out of exhaustion. He sold his birthright portion. He came back from hunting without any game, without any gathered in, and without any food. And his brother said, well, you sell me your birthright for this. Now he knew that, like, well, there's so many rules where you die if you do anything wrong in the temple. And one day there'll be a temple, and probably I'm going to die if I do something wrong. So chas v'shalom. So I guess I should just give it away. I'm not fit. He was skillful. He was a knower. He knew how to trap. He was cunning. He knew the fields, the nature. But he was also a victim of an opportunist exploiter. We could say Yaakov behaved that way. Then, when the blessing came for Yitzhak when he was going to die, Yaakov wore goat skins because Esav said he was red and he was hairy. He was like ready, red and ready. He was like an adult. He was fully ready when he was born while Yaakov grew in. And so he loved for what he gave. He brought with his true self. He was brave enough to leave the tent dwelling, the staying silent without regular occupation. He felt his family turning against him though, like his mother loved his brother and helped trick his father into giving his brother the blessings before he came back. He spent the whole day finding for his father's gain. His father was a blind recluse, and the energy of being able to carry the collective tragedy and unresolved stuff from others. An intolerance of palliatives, a passion for truth, and a despair to destructiveness, tortured authenticity, work devoid of substance, dismissal of a weighty past, seeking a consummation that will include and redeem all traumas, to die, to sleep, instrumentalized via essentialized love. He just needed blessing from his father, but his father also wanted food from him. His father loved him for giving him food. He was rejected by being different, for being different by those who are naturally attracted, by those, though, who are naturally attracted to opposites. He was hairy, not smooth. In complexity, he was tangled. He was not free of attachments. He had a victim consciousness. He forgot his own role and agency. I think of my own mother and father, my father Yitzhak, my mother Rivka, like his parents. And I also think of how Rivka, my mother, saw my father in me. And Rivka loved only her own image in a way, like the one who was like her, they say. And thinking about someone who dies so others could live, the reciprocal energy structure, we could say people like, they say it was Jesus or Buddha or the babies in the Holocaust or the man who set himself on fire to stop the tanks at a war in Asia, or Moses or Isaac, right? His father was put on the altar. He was almost sacrificed. They say even the knife did touch him. He had to recover for 3 years. So there's this sacrifice, atonement, martyr. My friend Michelle, I don't know how close we are anymore, but when I was close with her, she told me, you don't remember heaven, Shayna? I felt like she was asking me to give my portion, like to tell her things about my heaven. Anyway, when Yitzhak saw that, he went blind, that Rivka was loving, actually it says he might have gone blind early, but he got blind with his age. It says he still loved Esav, and it was like he was blind. Then they say Rivka saw really Esav and didn't trust him. And after Yaakov stole the blessings, Esav was very hurt, very angry, and wanted to kill him, just couldn't bear the pain. So something happened when I was a baby, I feel like, and it was, could be the physical, was that there was an umbilical cord that tried to kill me. Like it was wrapped around my neck twice, plus I breathed in fluid, and I came out sideways. So whether it's the prophecy or the physical food of being a baby, biting my tongue is breaking my back. Chas v'shalom. But people say that there's a big relationship between tongue healing, like tongue work, and the back healing. I remember like professor that ridiculed, sneered, and humiliated me like my father, so I just tried harder futilely, like as a kid. And the other students probably thought I was maybe insane, but also like funny, likable, sweet. I was so desperate to be a genius in that class, but who cares how smart I am? He was a philosophy professor. And I remember it was because I said that, because they said that if you give people a chance, they'll do the right thing, and they'll be givers. I guess it's up for debate whether people are generous by nature. Anyway, there's enough to go around. No one needs to sacrifice themselves. And then bending over backwards actually paralyzes me. When I accept myself, it means being less of the outside that I developed to protect myself. My work is really to give the benefit of the doubt instead of being the judge, and practicing restriction of physical energy consumption to receive spiritual energy. I've been gaining weight. It's been difficult. Maybe I'm on an upswing though. So the trust that God loves me as a queen and gave me the capacity to receive more than I can believe is also part of my work. But when we're in a world where we have men who hate the feminine, I was born a woman. I'm thinking even my grandfather, not my father's father. I wish I could have met him, but maybe he was like that too. But it's normal to feel alone in a society that doesn't have emotional wellness, so that we can keep listening to our emotions. A lot has changed, but we still have room for improvement. And my body wellness comes from solitude, being in nature, being my nature. My body has innate survival skills, and my heart is shielded from harm. I'm going to stop here and wish you well. Have a great night. Bye.